Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of the iOS Lead Essentials podcast. Here we discuss the strategies in your journey to become a complete senior iOS developer. My name is Bogdan, I'm a senior iOS developer and lead instructor in the iOS Lead Essentials program, the online training program for iOS developers who want to become complete senior developers. Today our special guest is Emin from Norway, a senior iOS developer and student of the iOS Lead Essentials program. Hi, Emin, and welcome.
Hi. Good to be here.
Good to have you. So, before we deep dive into this conversation, let's just tell our audience what are some of your achievements with our program that we'll be covering today.
Besides the obvious that I advanced in my career, like as knowledge wise, I think one of the substantial one and one that we sometimes focus on is the salary, which had
Yeah,
like substantial increase in a very short amount of time after I joined Essential Developer, and I'm definitely I know that it's connected to that, which I learned that
right.
everything. So it's yeah, one thing led to the other.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, and I'm sure you must feel good about that. Like whenever you have like a huge jump in your career, it kind of builds anticipation for more and just driving things.
Yeah, exactly. It's after all, why we do what we do, and additionally, besides the obvious thing that we love, but of course, it always helps to have like that financial part of the life sorted in a much more better fashion, basically.
Right. Cool. So for you watching this podcast, just stay until the end to learn how Emin did it and how you can achieve similar things too. Our goal here is to find replicable steps that others can follow to achieve the same. So, Emin, how long have you been an iOS developer?
I have been an iOS developer since 2019, I think. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I was hired in 2019. I started learning in 2018. Before that, I was a designer, a UX designer, for
Wow.
about 10 years or so, even more. And yeah, so what is it, like 4 years now of like active employment, basically.
Right. So you got a pretty special career already. So I don't know a lot of people who are both a designer and a developer. So how's that like?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I now looking back, I can kind of see how I actually wanted to be a developer at the end of the road. When I started, when I started working, I wanted to create cool products, and the easier way to create back then was, I mean, I didn't have any technical knowledge, so and I always liked visual arts and everything. So I
Right.
kind of focused on that, and once I got a job, it just like went from there, and I started advancing, going from Flash Flash animations. That was my first
Yeah.
job, like Flash banner animator, and it went from there to print to web to UX. In the end, when iPhone was out, everything was like on mobile. So I focused on that primarily. And after a while, I was making products like visually, but I didn't have a hand in making products like literally. So I kind of started thinking like, is it possible? Can I try and move to this other side of things and start making products like after the design stage? And that's when I started to dive into iOS, because I was designing for iOS, so it was just logical for me to start
Right.
learning iOS. And
Right.
it definitely helped me in my career, not only while I work, but also when I apply for jobs. It certainly helps to like, oh, this guy has like a cool like visual experience, so he will probably make uh, um, more direct assumptions like in the design while he works and everything. So if anything, it just stands out a bit more, which is always
Yeah.
helpful in the job market. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, because I know at least some developers just struggle with being very neat and clear with their UI implementations. So you coming from a designer background, you definitely stand out in that remark. So I know some companies just specifically mention in their ads like, okay, we want somebody that can build a really nice UI UX, like a clean style experience, and yeah, that's definitely helpful.
Yeah.
So plus you already know everything about like fonts and paddings and
Yeah. That was I think like, I mean, there's always like kind of that thing with designers and developers, like designer gets mad because developer didn't respect like 8-point grid,
yeah,
or developer
yeah,
is like, oh, you cannot work with any data or whatever, just make it a perfect view with that data. What if the word is longer or something? So coming in to the development, I kind of had all that like sorted from the design perspective, and then when I got to know the developer's perspective, it was so much easier for me to just work on
right.
both ends, basically.
Great. Okay. And how did you find out about the iOS Lead Essentials program?
I'm pretty sure it was on the Hacking with Swift site, because I know that Kai and Mike have whenever a new course like starts like each year, they have an ad like there for like some time, and I think I spotted it there, or it was on Twitter. I'm not sure, but I kept seeing videos and talking about belts and everything, and I was like, what's this thing with belts? And like it kind of was interesting, like a different approach to things.
Right.
And yeah, when I just dived into videos, and because there were like some free, like a free course before you sign up, it was interesting for me to see how it all works and everything. And yeah, it just went from there, like, I guess.
Cool. So yeah, both Twitter and probably some other iOS Swift content sharing platforms, like you mentioned. What I want to touch upon here very quickly is you mentioned the belt system, and for people that aren't already students of the academy, this is a system we use to track our progress inside the program. So it's like similar to the martial arts belt system, where everybody starts at the white belt, and then as you progress through the program, you get your stripes, you get your blue belt when you finish the program, and the journey to like a complete senior developer aims for the black belt is very much like in martial arts. So that's kind of what the belt system is. So it's very interesting because it always rewards you for achieving something, so you get a new promotion, but at the same time you still have like a next step. It's always like a next step to go to, so it's also challenging as well.
Yeah. I think one thing now, just thinking back, because I was studying, not studying, but like practicing kendo, a martial arts, which is like kind of like samurai
Oh,
fighting thing. I'm not sure how many people are familiar, but I always liked the discipline and the way the martial art, any martial art functions, which is like learn, repeat, improve, learn, repeat, improve, and just go on and on. And like you said, like you progress like through the stages. And I guess when I saw that, I kind of like, I felt like akin to that, like I
yeah,
definitely, something that drew me in, maybe behind without me realizing it. But yeah, it's definitely a really cool approach to things.
yeah. And the similarity definitely helps. Well, you already understand how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. So you heard about the program on Twitter, or maybe it was the other source. Like it doesn't really matter. But what I want to learn from you is what was your professional life like back then? Like what did you struggle with? What were you looking for? If you can share that, that would be awesome.
Yeah. The thing, it was so, I mean, it was ridiculous how much it aligned with the videos that I saw for the course, which was like announcing like how I was talking how there were issues when you start working as an iOS developer from a junior position and you start advancing. You always look for how to advance. Like, do I just need to write more code? Do I just need to solve more bugs? How it all works out. And after a while, you reach a point where I was, which is that I can create things, I can solve bugs, but I don't really understand how everything fits together, like in a more serious app. And the architectural approach to things was kind of foreign to me. I mean, I knew like what types of architectures there are, how they all work. I knew the theory, but I was never sure what goes where and how it all fits together and all that. And from the videos, I saw that it was actually hinting towards that if you're at that level, that you can already do some things in iOS, you know your way around the code, but you feel insecure if you have to add something new. Oh, does it go into the like this layer, or who's responsible for this? Like if you're struggling, as I was, to just decide what goes where and how it all works, that's definitely what drew me to search for other material and opportunities where I could learn. Because up to that point, the books, they help you get to know the theory behind the things, but not in practice, like how to
How to
approach.
apply it, yeah. Right. What about just working in a timely manner? Was that working okay for you, or do you feel like you were, moving slowly, moving fast? Like,
Yeah, it was hectic. Like at times I was just blazing through the tutorials and like creating things and everything. But then looking back, I could see that some things I made were like just rushed, or
yeah,
whenever I was learning something, I expected to get it like really quickly. Because at first, when you start learning iOS, you get used to ingesting data like fairly quickly, because once you learn it, you can apply it and it works, and you're like, oh, that's in the bag, and on to the next one. And after a while, when I reached that stage where I was rushing, but I didn't feel the same level of progress, that I was like I was running in the same spot. Like I kept working on apps and solving things and everything, and trying to learn as fast as I could. But I wasn't advancing as fast, like at all. Like I literally felt I was in one spot, even though I knew that I was definitely learning something and everything. I didn't feel uh, that momentum forward, basically.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of developers had similar experiences where, I don't know, if you read some random articles or just pick something like a tutorial to look into, you have this feeling that, yeah, I'm learning, I'm progressing, but it's like you're saying, like when you maybe do a review after a while, like you don't see any actual improvement. So it's like, okay, why is this not working for me? And it's like, so
Yeah.
yeah, I know a lot of people who, especially nowadays, where you're bombarded with so much content, like everybody's trying to push their new article, new video, new something to you, like you might fell in the trap and give them your time, and you don't get much value out of it. So it's really hard to pick uh, what to study, to advance your career, right?
Yeah, that's true. I kind of have a feeling that before, and I'm not sure why this like just came to me. Like before, if you imagine yourself like swimming on the top of the water and you're swimming, but the current is like moving you backwards. That's like if you're staying on top of things, like you said, like new articles and everything's moving so fast, and you're trying to catch everything and to create. But if you slow down and just go underwater and just like dive, then you will move forwards, but you won't like pay attention to all the fast things,
Right.
but pay attention to the more concrete things. And once you learn those, then everything else becomes easy to digest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I really like the analogy you drew, like with the waves under like at the top, very distracting, and underneath it's all steady and quiet, so you
yeah,
can
and
move.
slow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I think it's slow,
Excellent.
but yeah. And I think one thing, whenever I talk to any senior developer back then, when everyone was a lot senior, and now like you always have senior developers. Like no matter how senior developer you are, there's always someone more senior. Whenever I talk to
Yeah.
them, the calmness and like the whenever I'm like, oh, I need to solve this quickly. and do this, and he like, oh, no, 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 slow down, like take it slow, because, and that's, I think, what I learned, like from the course and like in general from like experience, like if you go slow and just try to understand things and put them in order, everything will go fast in the end. So
Yeah, that's that's counterintuitive, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
to go fast, you need to go slow.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Excellent. Yeah, I totally agree. Like that's and indeed it comes with experience. So when you start to like whenever it's like you said, when you already spot yourself rushing, it's like no, this is gonna end bad. So
Yeah,
I need to stop now. Like stop, think, analyze, and um, just do it when I'm confident about it. Like not just put something together really quickly. So that never never ends well.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, you told me about your learning. How was before joining a program like this period? Like, what about work per se? Like, did you enjoy? Did you think like it was moving where you wanted to, or do you have any like issues or things you struggled with?
Yeah, you mean the course, like when I was taking the course while I was
At
or
work, so maybe before joining the
Mhm.
program, like j- just your day-to-day work
Oh yeah,
life, like what was that like?
yeah, well, it was, I was getting the job done. Basically, I didn't I wasn't stuck like in one spot. Like I was just like, tickets came and go and projects came and go and everything was like moving, and I didn't wasn't assessing like constantly like, oh, am I better, am I better, but I could see that I'm just doing things. I'm not learning as I was before, and I'm not feeling the momentum that I was. So, and I kind of knew that if I have to dive into the deep end of the code and handle some more serious stuff, not just like the smaller bugs and smaller tickets and whatnot, if I have to handle something that your user does not see and something that's like more behind the curtains work, always felt like, maybe I need to like compare it to this other code and see how it works there and then just replicate. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
feel the freedom to do anything on my own. And whenever I would put out a PR that has like more serious work done, I was able to do it, but it was slow and it was so insecure. And it was
right.
good for me whenever I got feedback, like how to do it, but it was always like kind of like, is this the right thing? Like I kept feeling like voice in my head, like I have no idea what I'm doing, like I'm coding, but is this good? I don't know, like someone else will tell me. So that was my state of mind. It wasn't bad per se, but it was definitely something I was feeling insecure a
Right,
lot of the time,
right,
for sure. Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely something a lot of people can relate to, especially with, like you said, back-end work where you have to, I don't know, deal with more abstract concepts like threading or security, or I don't know, like these corporations, like they're a lot harder to reason about than just, I don't know, UI, because the UI you can feel, right?
Yeah.
You put
Yeah.
it on a few devices, you play with it, and it's like, okay, it works or it doesn't. But with more abstract features, it's always harder to understand. So yeah, I hear what you're coming from.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so was that like the thing that frustrated you the most? Was this like not being able to feel confident about the details of some of the work you did, or was it something else?
Yeah, it was definitely not knowing how to go further, you know. So
Right.
I was if I go like, and I didn't know like if there was a tutorial or a book that I could read. If I knew, if someone told me like, hey, this is the book, like it has like 2,000 pages, read it and you'll know it. I mean, I wasn't expecting something that like direct, but I didn't know where to go, like how to even search for that. Like how do I understand Swift better? You know, it's like not something that you can, not something tangible. like if it's a certain problem, like how do you work with this type of use or this architecture or something. But this was kind of like something that I had no idea what to focus on. And again, like because that was my problem, Kyle, when he was talking about the video, how his senior developer, when he was learning, he got to a point when he thought that senior developers would know how to do it, and not until one guy came about and he saw that that's how you actually do some more serious things. So
Right.
it's hard to go past that step. And yeah, that was frustrating not knowing. But I definitely wanted to go further, but I didn't know how. So I was
Right.
really stuck at that point for sure.
Right. Yeah, and I remember the example you mentioned, right, from uh, Kyle's story, where he said like this senior developer joined their team and he was very good at everything. So
Yeah, and he
it's
left like
unique.
after
Yeah,
a short time.
yeah. It's unique when you're able to see, because it's exactly how you put it. Like if you don't know how a senior looks like, you don't know how to like what's the next step for me. And as
Yeah,
soon as you see this person or one person like a role model, then you say, okay, now I know I need to get these skills, I need to get this knowledge. But until then, it's very maybe uh, like you don't have like a clear target, so
yeah,
it's just guesswork. So yeah, I get it. I get it. I also, when I remember when I started my career, there weren't many seniors I could uh, learn from or
yeah,
follow. So I had to like make some mistakes on my own and just try things out. And um, yeah, nowadays it's a lot nicer because people share their journeys. Like they write books, articles, everything, so you can understand how to at least get closer to some real good engineers out there. So
yeah. True that.
okay, so yeah, just to recap, what I'm getting here is like you struggle with studying, like just not knowing when to or where to push, sometimes being in a hurry, sometimes being slow, and also not like wanting to progress but didn't get the knowledge on where to invest your time and what skills to master. So yeah, I I think I had similar struggles in my career, so I can definitely vouch for
Yeah.
these issues. Yeah, so then you decided to join the iOS Lead Essentials program. So tell us a bit about that. Like, did you have any second thoughts? How did you decide to join?
Yeah. I definitely had second thoughts. I remember when I was seeing the video, it almost sounded like too good to be true, because they were talking exactly about what I needed. And the whole talk about black belts, as much as it drew me in, I was kind of like, because they kept saying, "Do you want to be a black belt iOS developer?" Something like that was like the big title of the whole story. And I'm kind of like, is this real? Can it really be like they're presenting it as if it's easy? But yeah, like they always tell like you have to do the work, which is really good for me. Like I was that makes sense. But I kind of felt like, could it be like this easy if I go like a course and I just follow tutorials? Like, can it be like that easy? And the course was not too costly, but considering that, I mean, now the books and so many courses and everything, but because it was so handling some more concrete stuff, not like beginner tutorials and stuff like that, I expected the cost to
Yeah,
be in the higher
higher.
end.
Yeah,
So it was definitely something that threw me back a bit, and I was kept thinking like, okay, like, do I really need it? Do I really want it? And is this something is it worthwhile and worth the money and everything? So I was definitely thinking about it, but then in the end, I came to the conclusion that I didn't know what else to do. I didn't feel like like I was hitting like a roof or something, like it couldn't go through. So the only thing I could do is like, okay, this seems like it's doing exactly what I needed to do. So I have to make the investment in myself in order to
Right.
later on hopefully be able to recoup that investment by getting like a better job or higher salary or a better position or whatever. And yeah, I luckily the company I am working for was able to handle like a part of that
Oh, nice.
investment. So that definitely helps. And Kyle was also saying that in videos and in the course as well, that you have to, like, the company that you work for, they need to understand that if they invest in you, that you can bring back that investment like tenfold or how many
Yeah,
fold. So it's
exactly.
worth asking, if anything. But I mean, now it's easy for me saying that now, but now looking back, I wouldn't have second thoughts at all. I would definitely try invest myself, but I would also always ask like the company that you work for, because if it can help, like, why not?
Yeah,
You both benefit from it in the end, so
exactly.
it makes
And
sense.
it's like more official if you do it with your company together.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
most of the time, they do have the budget. It's like sometimes it just gets put to, I don't know, worse use. Just send you to a conference and you maybe
yeah,
do a bit of networking, but the real value, the day-to-day improvements are very slim, right? At least that's my experience. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
like going sometimes to conferences, but I don't see a lot of value coming out of it compared to like a course where you study for a few months and like the it's like you said, the investment is directly proportional with the results if you do the work, right? So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's not
that's it.
it's the value that like keeps on. I mean, it sounds cliche, but it keeps on giving because you have access for so long. You can still like go back and relearn and re-reference, or just the advancement is never ending. Is like, it's not like you
Yeah,
go through the course and you're done. You just put it aside. It's like something that you need to keep working on for sure.
yeah, I agree. I still learn every day and
Yeah,
I'm never there. It's always something new to master.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you joined the program. So let's talk about your experience with the program. So how did you approach it? How do you find the discipline to do it? Like how do you do it? How do you
Yeah, I at first I just went in and like started watching the videos, and I think the first 10 videos or so are like more instructional related. They which is, it was surprising to me and mind blowing at the same time, because they don't tell you like what to learn but how to learn it, which for me was an eye
yeah,
opener. As the I just thought like, oh, I'll go like, I don't know, a few videos at a time and just like go through it. Like, I didn't have any concrete plans how to do it and everything. And during those instruction videos, I kind of like got to know the approach to learning and how I should be learning. I mean, most importantly, all those were suggestions, like,
yeah,
oh, you can learn like this and you can learn like that. Like, different persons learn different way, and you can find your own way, whatever it is. But whatever, just define it and make sure that you repeat that process. And that
exactly. That's it.
repetition is the word of the day for sure.
Yeah,
And then I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, if this was paid for and everything, if I'm serious about this, I'm gonna try and make it more concrete. And so I plan out. I didn't have a too extravagant of a plan, because just a month before, me and Moa got our daughter, baby daughter. So I was like, okay, I'm probably not gonna have like a lot of time during the day, and I put aside like 45 minutes. I'm not sure why it was 45. I think it's because like the in schools you have 45 minutes classes, and I think like your concentration is like 45 minutes. You should learn for 45 and then 15 to rest and
right,
everything.
right.
So I was like, let's start with that. If I have more time, I'll learn more. But at least 45 minutes, I should be able to set it aside each day. And I got like some apps for like Pomodoro timers and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that.
Pomodoros.
And
Yeah.
got a remarkable tablet so I can write down while I like literally I wanted to be like, let me try and like do this like the old school classes, like you sit down and you're like write down and then just pause, underline whatever. And
That's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah. So my approach was very methodical. Not all days went like that, but at the same time, like I didn't expect them to. So I just, if I didn't learn for a couple of days, I didn't want to rush, which was the mistake I was doing before. I was just okay. I'll pick up where I left off. I'll take the next one, and again, 4 or 5 minutes. Some days I did more. Some days I did less, and there were periods where I think even for 2 3 months at a time I did very little because of some like life gets in the way in all kinds of ways. So but still I didn't feel like it was something where I had to go through it like A to B. It's more like these are just like uh, steps that you go, and you just, when you stop, when you go, you can pick up again. It's not like something, the knowledge doesn't go away. So I kind of
Yeah.
looked at it like all the videos and all the sections and everything. It's more like pieces that you pick up, and you, if you can pick them up like in a year, that's okay. If you can pick them up in 3 months. And I'm not sure, like Kaya's assessment was like, if you do hour a day, you should go over it in 3 months, I think. I'm not sure if it's the right
I'm not sure.
yeah,
Not sure.
but either way, like I was I decided like I'm not gonna rush. I have access to all of this. I want to make sure to go through it well. And I even like some days I want to cut through a couple of videos. Some days it was like a half a video because it was like more dense with information. So I just like left it as is and picked it up tomorrow. And some days I literally did like one video 3 times in a row because I didn't want to learn it completely, but I felt like I didn't really get the thing,
Grasp it. Yeah.
how it all works out. So yeah, I was really not rushing.
Awesome.
So yeah,
So I think what you're describing here is a very efficient way of learning. For once, at least this works for me too. Like I like to write things down. It's just because you get some new synapses when you do that. So is
yeah,
like sometimes maybe you look at a video or piece of paper and you think like, yeah, this makes sense. Like I know it. You don't. Like unless you process that information several times, there's no way you're gonna store it. So I like that part. I also like the part where you say, okay, if the video is very heavy in information, then I need to maybe rewatch it a few times, or because it's at the end of the day, it's about the quality of the things you learn, not about like how fast can I go and just check each lecture. So yeah, I really like it. I think I followed like a similar process, but yeah, it's very efficient this way. And from what you said, and I think I can attest to this too, like you can scale this skill to new things you learn after that. So
yeah,
whenever I learn something new, like I still use the same process. Rewatch, like write things down, make sure I go through it a few times.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, really glad you took the time to walk us through that process. As you said, very methodical and I think very efficient. So nice.
yeah. It worked out.
Yeah. So at this pace of, let's say, 45 minutes more or less, depending on the day, how long did it take to finish the program?
I think it was yeah, it's kind of, it was definitely more than 6 months, I think.
Okay.
And it was a lot more than I would expect it to be. Because I know that I got it in August, so I know that by the end of the year I wasn't done. I didn't feel like I was done. So it definitely took a while. But again, I think in that was the period where I had like those 2-3 months where I felt like I almost didn't do anything. So I would say like if I kept my 45 minutes per day, I think I would hit like those 3-4 months mark.
Right.
And again, just going at it slow and all that. But yeah, like that would be like an approximation. But I know also that I wasn't thinking like, oh, will I make it in 6 months? Will it be like that's why I'm not even sure, because I didn't want to reach the end. I just wanted to just learn. And I don't want to give any spoilers on from the course, but like the way how it suggested for you to learn is like not to just go through it and you're done and you just leave and you have that knowledge and you're set for life. It's more like repetition and implementation and try and practice what you learn. Like that's why again it goes back to the martial arts, that when you do katas and when you do like fights or exercises, whatever, you just don't do it once and you're done. You just have to do it again and again, and the more you do it, the better you become. So
Right. Right. That's it. And just wanted to mention here that I recently learned about coding katas as well. So exactly as you do it in martial arts, you have coding kata, and I started having fun with some of these as well. But yeah, totally worth what you're saying. So
yeah.
okay, so yeah, 6 months is a reasonable time, because I mean there's a lot of concepts that you learn about in the program, like principles, concept, techniques, and some of them just require repetition to become proficient, like test-driven development. That's not something you read once and you master, right? You have to expose yourself to it enough so you become proficient in it. And there's other things as well, like design and like coding design, not UI design.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I remember you told me about your struggles before the program, like just not finding the right content to learn from, and especially not having the confidence to go deep with the implementations you did, with not knowing exactly if you did it right or not, like that kind of a thing. How do you feel the program helped you with this?
Yeah, I think it literally, I didn't feel it was like an immediate action reaction kind of thing. But as I was just like going through the program day in, day out, I after a while, just looking back, I would see like same part of the code or touch upon like similar issues or some complex areas I was working on, and it just kind of felt like more familiar, and at the same time something that I felt more confident with. So I think the confidence part was had a good part in it as well, because I was doing the course and learning some of these things, like really learning them, not just having like the paragraph in my head, like, oh, like singleton is this and this is when you use singleton and this is when you don't. It was more like kind of a feeling that you have, like, oh, I know this thing works like this and I can use it here. So it really um, felt like I was becoming just more and more relaxed, and just whatever comes along, I'm sure I can handle it. And that freedom of not like dreading, dreading is maybe too hard of a word, but uh, semi dreading a ticket or something that I need to work on. Like, oh, I've never seen this class. Like, does it have Objective C in it? And then the thing is, like, even with Objective C, I have more confidence because I know how things work. So it was just a slowly burning fire, like on the side, that just kept like rising, I guess. And yeah, after a while, I just connected the dots, and I was definitely sure that it was because of the course, because I could recognize the patterns that I was seeing like in the course. I could see them like in all the code bases that I was touching upon. I was looking some open source projects and whatnot. And yeah, and that's an interesting point, that before, when I was on GitHub and I saw like some open source projects, and I was like, oh, I wish I was the one who can contribute to this, or but after a while I became aware that maybe I could, like, if I looked at the code and I saw that something didn't make sense and I suggested a
Right.
change, and it worked out. So I was like, hey, like, this is how it's done. Like, you just try to make it better, and in time you will see the patterns, what works, what doesn't. And that's the kind of hard thing to describe, and to like draw, like how you went from this to this. Like that's the
Right.
main thing.
Right. Very interesting. I also enjoy contributing to open source from time to time, and I know that did you see this as well? Like I saw it as a different skill. The way you approach open source, like reusable code, is a bit different, like a different mind set than writing apps that are closed source in a way. So
Yeah.
at least it helped me a lot when I did that, like to become more explicit. Is it the same?
Yeah, because it's definitely a different approach, as you mentioned. And I think like a bunch of things that I saw in open source projects, and that's used in open code bases, we could use in the closed source projects. And that's the thing that I wasn't privy to. I didn't see it. Some of these approaches were like so foreign to me, and then after a while I was like, oh, this can have its uses here as well. So yeah, but it's definitely once you go through few projects, it seems like a whole different world, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, a bunch of uses of public which you never see in the other type of code base usually. So it's yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I mentioned when you were describing how the program helped you is you switch from the narrative of like rushing and not being like very confident to a confident, like I can slow down. Don't need I don't need to do this fast. I can take my time and really pick my solution. So I noticed that just from the narrative you used to describe the two periods. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Congrats for that.
Yeah, thank you. It definitely did make the switch for me. I wasn't aiming for that, to be honest. I was just like, I just want to learn, like whatever that may entail. But it just was, and the peace of mind that it brought me, I'm very grateful for that as well, because I'm not feeling stressed. Whichever issue comes about, and whatever I want to do, it kind of just like, just if you believe that, not if you only believe in yourself, but more that if you are aware that the things that you know, you can just adapt, and you can figure out how things can work out for you. So yeah, that's definitely
Right.
a big switch.
Right. Okay. So I'm sure the people watching are interested to know how long did it take to achieve like the big salary jump and just being more confident about your work. Um,
Yeah, that's the thing with, even though my progress through the course was slower. I mean, slower than I would expect it at that time. Now I know, like, it was as it is. It's not something that I would like to have gone faster through. And I think just a couple of months after I think I know that it was a couple of months after I started the course, because at first I was really adamant with like the daily exercises, and like going through the videos and practicing what I'm learning. And you could literally see that in my code as well. in my PRs, in how I explain things. I think that's the important part as well. Like, not only before I was explaining things how they work, like how this goes, how the method calls this, and how this all works. But after that, I became explaining why they work like that, the way that I wrote it. And before, I wasn't sure how to write a PR, like not how to write, but like what to write in, like how do I explain this? Because like I thought like, oh, it's just, you can see the methods and like that's it. I call this from here, and you know. But after just like a couple of months of the course, I was able to really take a step back and have a completely different approach to explaining, to talking about code, solving problems, and working on projects. So fairly fairly quickly I got assigned to like a bigger project, which is more um, beneficial. I mean, it is beneficial, but more, it has more impact on the project than some of the other. Up until then, I was just solving bugs, stuff like that. So, and also the confidence with it, where I was able to pick up that project and say like, yeah, I can sort that out. I can do it on my own. I can work with this team or whatever. And I was able to place myself in such a position that I was able to work on this. And yeah, after that, I got like it was an easy 20-25% increase in salary, which was for me. I
Nice.
already had like a good salary, like a fair salary, let's say. But after this, I like got like a substantial chunk of it at the end of it, and I was like, whoa, like this works. Like, is it possible that it's this fast? You know? But yeah, and
How'd you get it? How'd you get it? Did your boss approach you, or did you like how
we
did
had
that went?
like a review process, but I definitely was able to voice my, like, to assess myself better than I was before. I was able to say what I did, how I did it, why I did it, and you could see like in the manner that I explained why I'm worth what and why I did things that I did. Like I was able to justify myself better. Like
Right.
before, I'm not sure I would be aware of the things that I could do, and I would be able to explain the things that I did like in a proper fashion. But then after that, I was able to realize like how good I can become even in the future, and the things that I did up until then, that they're worthwhile and that it's worth investing in me even more. So yeah, it's just kind of built up upon all that. Again, I want to say that the confidence there is like the biggest factor. It's a good factor and it's a good thing to have, but it's also something that you work on. It's not something that's like, oh, there's a confident guy, he's a confident coder. You know, it's something that you build by with knowledge. So knowledgeable and confident go hand in hand in the in our line of
Right.
work, at least how I see. Like
Right.
yeah.
It's
So
always a feedback loop, right? Because you
yeah,
do something, you get good feedback. Although if you
yeah,
do that many times, then yeah, you get confident about it. But
yeah,
if you, on the other hand, if you get like bad feedback or bad results, or the code crashes in production a few times or stuff like that, then your confidence definitely decreases. So it's always a feedback loop, and you're bound to the results of your work. So
yeah, yeah. And I think the
that's it.
important thing with that loop, as you mentioned, is that if you're just confident without the knowledge, then it's just like one-way street. Like you can be
Yeah,
confident all you
that's
want. Like
cocky to me.
yeah, cocky, exactly. Confident is good, cocky is not. So I don't want people to think that, oh, you just have to be like vocal about that, how good you are or whatever. But if you are confident to pick up a project and to volunteer to solve a bug or some, but volunteer not just because of the confidence, but because that you believe that you can sort it. And like you said, if it goes back as like a good response, and then you build up that confidence a bit more, it allows you to break through some of the barriers that you had before. So that's where the magic happens. Like that's where you
Yeah,
really advance. Yeah,
that's it. That's it. Awesome.
yeah.
So, what are some of the main takeaways you got from the program? Can you shortly tell us?
Yeah, I think the one thing that definitely was a big switch for me was that I shouldn't try to make things work just by respecting the patterns that we saw before, that you see in a tutorial, that you see in a book. Even though those patterns are like a solid, pun intended, but you need to apply them the way that it makes sense for that app. So that's where all that comes in, like the knowledge and the confidence and the experience and all that. So before I thought like, oh, if I need to do like MVVM app, I need to do this. This is the view model. This goes into the view model because I saw this in a tutorial, or I read it in a book. That can work up to a point, but if you encounter an issue which is really tricky, like how do you sort a networking issue, or how do you approach this if you need to increase the security of the app, how do you make that work so it makes sense for another person that's looking at the code and all that. There's no tutorial that will or a book that will tell you how to do it in your app. And the key there is just to work to create something that makes sense for you and hopefully for others. So writing code that makes sense and that it's readable and maintainable is the biggest switch for me mentally, where I realized that if I have enough knowledge, I can assess that, oh, this makes sense, because even though it's not maybe respecting the strict MVVM or MVC rules or whichever architecture is, or if there's no architecture at all, at times that's even okay if the app is such fast moving or whatever. And if you just focus on making things work as they should and that they make sense, yeah, that was the magic turning point for me. Besides the whole course, like suggesting how you should learn, and that whichever way that you use for learning is your way, and that's okay. Like you may learn through videos, you may like to read more, you maybe want to write, maybe you don't want to write, maybe you just want to watch a video and code side by side, maybe you want to code after. Like it all works as long as you're just doing the work and repeat.
Yeah, awesome. And I want to expand a bit on what you said. I really liked your point, because a lot of people fall in this trap where they say, okay, if I follow MVVM in every component, then I have an architecture, and if I don't, like, I have no architecture, which is very wrong, especially from the point of view of software design, and not iOS only, but the point of software design in general, as we see on other platforms and abstract of platform. So an architecture is just the solution you choose, like different patterns which you repeat or choose not to repeat everywhere, that can allow you to develop your product at the pace you want it, with the features you wanted. So it's not repeating MVVM or Viper or whatever pattern you choose for the UI everywhere. And I'm really glad you touched upon that, because I think that's one of the big switches that most students do with the program is they say, okay, now I see these patterns as my tools and I can use them. And I have other patterns like, I don't know, composition and adapters, factories, whatever. I have all of these in my tool belt, and I can choose. Like, I choose at every point where to use it or where not to use it, as instead of just following blindly a pattern that I saw another, like in a tutorial or just in another class in my project.
Yeah.
It gives me that freedom and control that I'm in the driving seat, so I can decide. So at least to me, that's the one of the key transformations that happen to many students in the program, is to having this freedom and not feeling coerced. Like, yeah, I didn't use a view model here, so I must be breaking the architecture. Right? No, there's no
Let me
such
cram
thing.
it in there.
Yeah, it doesn't fit, but yeah, it needs to be
Yeah, exactly. That's on point, exactly. And I think another thing that really opened my eyes, I knew, yeah, I at the point where I decided that I'm going to get the course, was I signed up for like a free assessment of my project or something that was like on YouTube. And we were looking at the code, and the guy and Mike were looking like live for the first time. I know it was for the first time because I didn't send them the code before that. It was like a modified version. And we were looking at one method, and then they started talking about solid principles and actually applied them in a sense that made sense. Up until then, I knew like solid principles, like you can read like what stands for what and how it should be applied, but I never saw anyone apply them like in practice and like talk about them the way that it works out for your project. And I'm not sure what it was, which principle it was, but I remember that at the time that it was like so clear, like night and day, like, oh, like you need to do this because of that, and then this is more reusable, and now it's more testable because you can inject this. And I'm standing there like, he did this like in 5 minutes. Like, okay, like I'm
Yeah,
familiar.
Kaio does that.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, and I guess the final trait you get here is your independence as a developer, because now you can play with all these solutions. You can evaluate where you need to improve, where it's acceptable as it is, and basically you can drive your career as you want as soon as you have this, right? So
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing that, and I was actually talking to like a friend of mine who is a junior iOS dev, and he recently got a job and started working. He was complaining, not complaining, but just saying how he feels like if someone is not over his shoulder, making sure that what he does like makes sense. It's really stressful, you know. And
yeah,
up until you get to the point where you realize that whatever you're doing is okay, and it can always be improved, and it can always become better. But until you get that independence, that okay, I'm going to sort this out in a way that I know how, and then if someone suggests how I can improve it, that's even better. That means that I will improve it where you also improve yourself. So just getting that independence and knowing that I can handle things, and I can
right.
be assigned like whichever thing to work on, and I'll do my best. That's the thing for sure.
Yep. Good. Thanks for sharing that as well. And on the same line, like, do you have any advice for developers that are also trying to get their career to the next level? Like, what do you think is really crucial to making it to breaking that roof you mentioned?
Yeah,
Huh.
I think just there's a phase like for beginners, for juniors, and people just trying to get into the industry. You should just like learn and try and create apps or create your own problems that you want to solve. But specifically, and I know this is unrelated to the course itself, but I think it would help like a lot of junior developers, is you have to prove that you know to do what the company wants you to do. So create an app, make it look kind of fancy, as fancy as you can. Now with AIs, maybe something can help you with inspiration and stuff like that. But because of so many developers, you need to stand above the rest. And I think that's where my design skills helped me when I was getting into the industry. I had some apps that looked like my egg timer app was the reason why I got so many jobs. I mean, and on each interview, I was this app was mentioned just because it looks kind of quirky. But so yeah, just try to do whatever you can to
To stand out, right?
stand out. And for after that, like for how to advance and break that roof, is just to learn and repeat, but make sure that what you're learning is not too basic for you at that level. Challenge yourself, either go to an open source project, attend the course. I mean, of course I would recommend this course to anyone who wants really to advance in their career, but of course I understand that the if they don't have a company that can like pay for part of it or everything, or if they're not currently financially stable that they can invest this much in themselves, like invest in the time that you have, invest it the best as you can by repeating and challenging yourself with more serious subjects, and try to talk with senior developers and find senior developers, because if there's anything I learned with the course and with the experience and all that, is that a lot of really senior and good developers want to share their knowledge,
Right.
but they don't want to solve your problem. They want to teach you how to solve that problem yourself. So if you have the patience to, okay, tell me like what do you need to learn, or how do I need to learn this subject to solve this problem or whatever. If you want to learn, there are like so many people out there who can teach you. But if you want to learn, and
Right.
yeah, and finally, just one thing that I know that really affected like my mindset from the course and from those initial 10 videos was that no one's going to do the work for you if you don't do, repeat, and implement things yourself. There's no amount of YouTube tutorials, books, uh, blog posts, or whatever that can help you. If you don't, I mean, you're learning to write the code, so you have to write the code 100 times before you write it
Right.
once.
That's
It's really great.
very, very good point. I like it. And I would just add to, like, yeah, indeed, there's many seniors out there that want to share their knowledge. Just make sure you pick a good one
Yeah,
when you're when
true.
you're learning stuff, because learning good skills is super helpful. Learning bad skills or bad habits is can be hard to turn over. So just make sure you, I don't know, do your due diligence in researching and just finding out a bit about that person. And yeah, do the work. Like, don't do the work.
Yeah.
It's especially with some skills. Like some people get discouraged because it's not easy. Like you're used to learning easy, right? So when
Yeah,
you hit something that requires more steady pace and like more effort, you just say, okay, that's too hard for me. You just gotta keep pushing. Like some skills, and they're definitely worth it. They
yeah,
require more time, more repetition, like you said, repetition. It's, I think maybe Bruce Lee said this. Like I'm not afraid of the master who knows 1,000 martial arts moves, that
oh yeah,
I'm afraid of the one that knows one and repeated it 1,000 times or 10,000 times, something like that. So repetition is always like very, very powerful, especially when at your brain level you get these powerful connections. They're so fast at some point that they are like second nature. So
yeah, exactly.
that's it. Okay, this was very interesting. I still want to ask you, like, if it's a company out there that wants to talk to you about potential collaboration or anything, how can they reach you?
I'm even though like currently the Twitter situation is like all over the place. I stepped back from socials a bit, but on Twitter I'm Amin_UI, and I had that joke like this is the UI and I'm the UX, so I'll play on
Nice.
my experience as designer as well. Yeah, that's the best place to reach me because I tend to be active there from time to time.
Awesome.
And yeah, and if it's still there in a couple months, yeah.
Yeah, good point. We'll see. All right, I mean, thanks a lot for sharing all these details. I'm sure they will help other people. At least I know I picked up a few things to repeat after that, especially about your learning process. But not only that.
Yeah,
And
awesome. Thank
thank
you.
you. And yeah, see you with another occasion, maybe on the podcast or in the academy.
Yeah, why not? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you too. And for the people watching, if you want to learn more, just visit us at essentialdeveloper.com. And there you can find a bunch of free resources to improve your iOS dev skills. And you can also find us on the social channels, YouTube, Twitter, and so on. Thank you and see you soon. Bye.
Bye bye.